Alright, so tonight we're going to get to do something of that I wanted to do for a really long time and just haven't been able to do it. And so I have asked five of our seniors. Now I picked these five specifically because they are all a part of the circle. The circle is our student leaders up here. And so I asked them to do a lot of stuff a lot of times, things that a lot of you don't even see a lot of times. And so because they are our student leaders, I thought it would be an awesome way to end our school year by asking them, as all of them are coming out of high school, to give some advice and to help everybody else who is still stuck in high school. So if the five of y'all would come up here really quick, why don't y'all give a hand for our seniors tonight? Hey, before we get into our questions tonight, before our questions start, I do want to emphasize a couple of things really quick. If you have not registered for camp, you need to go ahead and do that. I received an email from Pastor Steve Monday saying that all 4 camps are going to be big camps. And just because I have reserved a certain amount of people for us to take does not mean we're going to get those numbers, just because once the camp hits a certain amount of people, the camp can't hold any more people. And so we want to make sure that everybody registers. So when you go home tonight, register. If you haven't even thought about going to camp, really, you should try and go to camp. Y'all should really try and go to a camp because it's going to be a ton of fun. It's awesome. I mean, which I think 10 of y'all have registered. The rest of y'all have not registered yet. So make sure that you register so that your bunk at camp is secure. Oh, do not pay online. There is a drop down under paying with credit card. If you hit that drop down, it'll say check. Pay with check because you give it to us and we send one big check, of which on our form that explains how to register, which is on the back table back there. It explains all of that stuff on how to register. Mike is holding them up right now, I think. Yeah, right there. So on all of those. And then one other announcement of which we have forgotten to announce last week and also this week. For almost 3 years, we have not had a praise band up here. And we are wanting to start our praise band back. Right? And so we are going to start practicing next month during the summer. You can still be a part, Jay, I promise. But if you want to be a part, if you're interested, you need to go see Melissa or actually any of the 3 people on that back couch over there. Go and talk to them. Hey, if you want to be a part and you don't know how to play an instrument, but you really would like to, think about learning an instrument, still go and talk to them because this is about gauging interest and seeing who wants to be a part of it. So if you want to be a part of this awesome thing, go and talk with them after service. That is my announcements for that I forgot to tell everybody. So our first question, of which I'm going to ask all 5 of you, let me get to it on my paper, to everyone. Let's start up with Mr. Luke Clark, and then we will run down this way. The first question is, and this is a very easy one, what is your plans this fall? What is your plans once all of these people that are still in high school, yeah, no, right, like, sorry. Once all of these people are starting school in August, what are you going to be doing in August instead?
So for me, I'm probably going to go back to school.
Yay!
I'm going to go to the aviation college to get my A&P license.
Okay. Yeah. So what does that mean?
That's a hard question because I don't
Give me a one-sentence answer for what it means. Are you going to work on helicopters, airplanes?
Basically, with the airplane part of it is basically what I'm going for mostly, and it is going to allow me to work on the framework of airplanes and stuff like that.
Okay.
He's chasing the big money.
He's chasing big money?
He's chasing the big money.
All right, Jade?
So, as Luke was saying, he's going back to school. Well, I get to start my 8-year journey of school. I'm going to the University of Alabama. My 8 years, I'll be majoring in political science and criminal justice on a pre-law track. Speaking of which, kickoff is September 9th.
Hey, Jade, after Alabama, what is the goal after graduating Alabama?
Personally, for like my actual law school, after I pass like the entrance, hopefully pass the entrance exam and all that, I would either like to go to Harvard or Stanford.
My God! Wait, the big school.
Okay, so why? She's gonna make all the money in the world. I'm gonna make no money because I'm going to Texas and gonna go to Southwestern. The spiritual money, I like it. I'm going to Texas and I'm gonna be attending SAGU, and I'm gonna get my intercultural studies degree, which just means I'm gonna get my ministry degree. Cool.
I'm going to Wallace in the fall, and I'm going to get my cosmetology license.
Luke stole mine. But I'm also going to get my physical trainer's license.
Okay. So what I really like about all of these answers is that all of y'all are going to be doing something totally different. But okay, besides both of you. But like, we've got people who are gonna like help build airplanes. We've got people who are gonna put people in jail or help them get out of jail. We got people who are gonna get people out of hell and in heaven. And then a person who is gonna make you look good while telling you about Jesus also. So, I think that's awesome. Now, let's start with another fun question. What is the highlight of your time up here, a part of a youth group, while in high school? Yeah, or just high school. But what is your highlight of high school, a youth group? Okay, well then just pick one of them.
Okay. Got
Pick
it.
one of them.
Okay.
Starting off with Tommy.
Probably playing soccer with people in youth.
Okay. That's a good answer.
It's both.
It's both, okay.
Definitely seeing the youth room grow. Like,
Okay.
that's been like one of my favorite things.
I guess I do high school. Getting my job at the Performing Arts Center and getting to work with a bunch of friends.
Okay.
Personally, mine low-key aligns with both. I most certainly enjoyed being able to come out of my shell, and even though like we have this big old joke in my school that I'm like the president of everything.
Because you won.
Well, but besides the point, it really was a eye-opening opportunity to be able to serve the amount of people that I was able to serve in both like here, my school, and in the rest of my community. So if any of you have ever like questioned whether or not you can go into a leadership position, at least do one, because it really does change you.
That's really cool.
Hey, look, for me, I'm just happy to be able to make it to the finale of Blacklist. Not many people expect They weren't expecting it.
Oh, that was good. All right, so this question goes to Luke and Audrey. Now, I will say, this is my favorite question that I typed out, and I wanted everybody's answer on this, but it would take all night, and so I picked 2 people specifically. So, no pressure. But no, this was my favorite one. Okay, so there comes a point in everybody's life of where I experience God. For a lot of us, having been a church kid, you have heard about God a lot. You have gone to camp after camp, but there comes a moment of where you meet Jesus, and it's like that first real encounter. And after that moment, it like snaps of, oh, this is who God is. God isn't just my parents' God. God isn't just of who Scotty is always talking about, but God is now my God too. So my question is, what was that experience of for both of you? And talk about something. It's typed right there, Lucas.
I know, see, but part of this, okay. So a little quick little backstory on that. About 3 years ago, I was kind of stressed out a good bit, and I had a lot of anxiety back in the day. So about 3 years ago, we had gone to camp, and when we went back to camp, one of the services was a good service that night.
Mm-hmm.
It was more or less kind of talking about people who were anxious, basically, really stressed out, hitting the bottom of the bottom. And that night, it just kind of clicked that night. And whenever you started talking about it, that night we ended up praying and stuff. And it was and like you said beforehand, it was an eye-opening experience. To where, ever since then, give me a second. I got this out of order. But ever since then, I realized after that I could truly trust him. I could speak to him. I could rely on him. And ever since then, I've been having a calm peace of mind. Ever since then, to where I was less stressed. It was basically like a warm hug. A warm hug in the end. But that's one way I can describe it. Right.
I have to agree. In 2020, it was really rough. That was a really rough year for me. I wrote it down because I'll probably mess up what I'm going to say and cry. I had a lot going on, and it had me questioning a lot about like my spiritual life and if I was really in it and if God really loved me and stuff like that. I was at this thing at my cousin's church. My family goes around like from church to churches in Alabama, and we sing and minister to other churches. Anyways, though, we were sitting and the pastor was preaching. I can't remember what he was preaching on, but it hit me. I was not in control of my spiritual life. I was leaning on other people to kind of get me through. Like, I knew other people could pray for me. I knew that they could get me where I needed to. But I realized that I couldn't lean on them. I had to lean on God and trust in Him myself. I would say that was definitely my eye opener. Like, oh, God's not just my mom's God. Like, He can really move for me in those ways too.
That's awesome. I like that. So our next question is going to go to Tony. If you haven't noticed, Tony is busy a lot. Like, Tony does school. Tony has a full-time job, basically. Tony has played soccer for 3 years. And Tony is at church constantly, too. So, Tony, my question is, with all of those things going on, how is it that you are able to keep church as a priority in your life, and your parents as pastors is not an answer?
That was totally part of my answer. No, but having friends that come to church makes it a whole lot better. So I'm not, even though I am busy, I actually want to come to church so I can see my friends. And then part of it is sacrifice. I have to sacrifice a lot, especially just like the little things, like maybe not play video games tonight, maybe just study on a break. And sometimes I do even sacrifice school as part of that, but I can do school late at night, it's no problem. And then some of it is sacrificing time with my friends and having to just stay home and just study. And then having the circle really helped me prioritize that kind of stuff because we did have assignments and stuff like that. So I had to do it. And then at work, a lot of times I can just listen to whatever, really. So instead of just turn on whatever music, I had like praise music on, and I'm surrounded by other church people there too.
That's a good answer. That's good. I like how he said, I had to sacrifice things. And he chose those moments of sacrifice. I think that's a really awesome thing, and that's a very mature thing right there. So that's awesome. Emma, you have for a long time, as we talk about it a lot, you have raised over $15,000 for Speed Be a Light. But as you have said many times, it is because you feel as if God has called you to be a missionary. I knew probably a year before you told me, I think I'm called to be a missionary. And so I want to ask you, what was the process of you feeling God has called you and then you deciding to accept that calling and to step out in that calling?
Why did you know before I did?
Okay. If you have a passion to give to a Speed the Light like that, that's something special that a lot of times only a pastor is going to have, and specifically a missionary also. And I don't know if you know this or not, I pray and Jesus speaks to me too.
Glad you played. Okay, I'll answer your question though. I just wanted to know. Sorry, girl. Sorry. Don't be best friends with somebody else in the circle. They mess with you when you're on stage. Anyways, the answer to the question is, in the 5th grade, God told me, okay, you're going to do something, like, in the ministry, but I was like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever, that was really weird, whatever, and I kind of, like, pushed it away for a while, and then in a youth camp, he told me, okay, you're actually going to do it, and you're going to be a missionary, and this is how you're going to do it, and I was like, okay, that's when I was like, I need to start focusing on it, and I was more mature then, when he called me the 2nd time, and then he was like, you gotta do it. And so I like focused on it, and I like give to missions, and I read and pray and all the Christian things to do, you know. But he just like pushed me towards it, I guess.
Okay, I like that.
Okay.
It's a good answer. I'll allow it.
Okay, thanks.
Jake, you want to go and be a lawyer. And I believe of that you have even said you felt as if it was a calling of that God had asked you to do. So my question is, and I want to make sure I ask this correctly. Why do you think God can call us into something that is not going into the ministry as a pastor? And why is that calling so important for not just you, but for all of us also?
I'm going to get this out of the way before I even go into any form of my question. Regardless of what any of you in this room are called to do, your main responsibility as a child of God is to make disciples, which is missionary work. So fun fact, regardless, you're called into missions. And the reason that I think it's so important that some of us in this room aren't called to do what Emma's going to do, to be called into what Scotty's doing right now, is because God still needs warriors out in the corporate workforce. Because why do I believe this? You still have so many people who depend on their own morals. I'm going into a career path in which they're all deemed as liars, hypocrites, and horrendous people. Okay, like you know the connotation behind this career, and you know the connotation around many different careers that even some of you may be called into. But as God's children, we are set in those places by God to be able to shine His light to people who don't see it. Because we're built different, and that's not supposed to be in a corny way, but we have God inside of us, and our responsibility as God's children is to show that to other people.
Yes.
And I'm not done. So, it also asks me why it's like really important. For anyone in this room who feels like somewhat, I don't know, self-critical that they're not called into ministry, just know that by acting in God's light, you're a missionary. because people see what you do and they notice you. Regardless of how talkative you are, regardless of how many positions you're in, people see you for who you are, but not just for who you are, they see you as whose you are. And so the next time you're a little bit critical on yourself because I'm not a pastor, I'm not going to be up there, just know that by not being a pastor, you actually have an advantage, because this is no disrespect, but Scotty has legitimately told me, like in the circle at some point, that he used to know everybody at Waffle House, and I saw you posted it. But that he was able to go in and speak to a girl about God, but the moment that somebody finds out he's a pastor, they step away. We have the power to make people not step away, because we don't have a connotation of somebody who's just going to force you to love Jesus. We have a genuine love for Jesus. And when people see that, it's powerful. Thank you.
We're going to take up an offering now. My gosh, Jay, what a word. That was good. Yes, I've been typing as Jada was answering, actually. That was solid. All right, so we got a little time left, and I'm going to ask y'all a question that was not on the text I sent y'all, because I got a little extra time. That's why. So the good thing is for Audrey and for Lou, they kind of already answered this question a little bit. But I want to ask all of y'all, what in your memory is one of those moments in life of where God just spoke to you, God affected you? I'm trying. Tell us of an encounter of that you had with God, basically. What is one of those like big life impactful moments? So, Jay, again.
For me, it has to be deeper of 2020. That is the function in which I got baptized in the Holy Spirit and got the power to speak in tongues. For the longest time beforehand, I had prayed over other people to get this ability, as they were like crying out to God and stuff like that, like we all do. But the important part with me in this situation is that I had already started to question whether or not I was ever going to be able to receive it. And it took that night and me getting baptized in the Holy Spirit. Thank you, Scotty, for praying over me that night. Thank you. That's a very core memory for me, that he was the one who prayed, like was with me praying in that moment. But for me, the moment I got my ability to speak in tongues, I was like, okay, just like you were here for me throughout everything, I realized in that moment, I was like, I really can't ask God for anything, and if it's in his will, he's going to give it.
That's good.
So.
Anybody else? Audrey, you're the one to add a little thing else? Go ahead.
Like my own thing, right? Not at the hers?
Yes.
Oh, what you said? Sorry, I got confused.
Your own
I'm sorry.
Your own
Okay. So last year at camp was awesome, guys. Go to camp. But so I think it was night 3 or 4. Melissa wasn't there, so she won't know because she's a loser. But Scotty will. The night where you made us write all the stuff on the paper.
Tuesday night.
Okay, so night 2. Sorry.
Best sermon I've ever heard.
All right, so night 2. If you weren't there, it was Pastor Chris Estrada.
No, Micah Mack.
Mike, what? Oh, my bad.
The note cards up with Micah.
Sorry, my bad. Pastor's confused. Anyways, what Pastor Michael Mack made us do was write all the things we'd ever done, like bad, I guess, on a piece of paper. And he made us give them to our sponsor or whatever. So Emily was there with us. So I gave it to Emily, and she read it or whatever. And then she prayed over us. And after everybody was prayed over and everything, he made us crumble up the paper, throw it in the air, and stomp on it or whatever. It was really cool. But when I was doing it, I was writing all the things down, and I was thinking, I can't have this in my life anymore. A lot of them I was still doing or whatever, and I couldn't have them in my life anymore. And so when Emily prayed over me, and a bunch of other people prayed over me, it released a bunch of stuff, and it was like God telling me, okay, you need to clear out your life, and this is why. And he listed all the things on what I need to clear.
Okay, no. Okay. Audrey, or Luca want to add anything?
Okay,
Cool.
you're the one.
That's fine. That's fine. I know, and it's tough when you ever ask spiritual things on the spot. But I did want to get a chance to do that. Now, our final question for tonight. As all of you are graduating high school, and the majority of these people in these chairs are not. Hate it, not really. What is a piece of advice that you would say to everyone else that you learned in your time in school? Also, I left this open-ended to where it could be spiritual or not, so I don't know what these answers are going to be. That's me saying if it's bad, it's not my fault.
I'm just saying it's gonna be really bad.
I'm joking.
But all I can really say is, from my experience, is even when things get kind of hard or desperate or something like that, where you think you're gonna not pass, something like that, is just keep moving, but make sure to enjoy it because it will pass by within a flash. I will say that. So.
Okay, so my biggest thing for all of you is to appreciate it while it lasts, but also, we talk about it all the time, like getting spiritual mentors. Also get mentors in your own school who will just pour into you and actually like encourage you and to, like as Luke was saying, to keep you moving, to keep you pushing forward, because a lot of times you're gonna get down in your dumps. You're not gonna know what to do. You're gonna be sitting here crying like me. Don't pull a J virus, please. But anyways, definitely have mentors in your life. Definitely have people with experience, and please respect the advice that people give you because they are looking out for what's best for you.
I was going between two or three, but I guess I'll go with this one. It's kind of like Jade's, but not at the same time. So all of us have our favorite teachers, and some of us had teachers we don't like at all. But the teachers that we love, let them into your life because they will be your therapist and they will be your best friend, and you can rant to them and tell them all about your life. Because I have one of those teachers, and I only knew her, I had her for one class, but for the past 2 years she has been my therapist, and I have ranted to her about everything. So get you at least one teacher or more that you can just talk to about life. Not even about school sometimes, but just about life in general.
Be involved. Like, yeah, that was my thing. Whenever I first joined youth, I was really awkward, and I sat in the back row all by myself because I didn't think anyone liked me, and everyone in the room loved me. So include yourself.
Stay active. Don't get lazy and sit on your butt. Make sure you're doing something. And
I'm gonna give all of you the best advice I got as a sophomore in high school. This is actually really good. Make friends with the people who work in your lunchroom. This is why. Because when you become their friend, you will get free food. I'm serious. If you befriend them and you treat them like they are the nicest person ever, when everybody else treats them as if they're a piece of crap, they will notice you. And over time, you will get free food. The lunchroom, hey.
We all get free food.
The lunchroom people at my school loved me so much that by the time I was a senior, I could stand behind their screens and type in my food. And she would say, no, don't add that. No, it's not extra. Don't add it. I'm like, are you sure? Like, they will let you do those things if you be nice to them. It's going to take some time, but if you're nice, it'll help you out a lot. So. It takes time, Lane, I'm just telling you. So as we are ending tonight, I want to tell the 5 of y'all, I have enjoyed watching all of you be up here. I have enjoyed watching all of you in encounter God, and not just watching all of you do that. I challenged y'all. I think all of you were in our apartment September of 2020 at the birth of the circle, and watching the 5 of you chase after God, but also, as I've challenged y'all have and said, what all of you do, everybody else is going to do also. The things I have challenged all of you at, we have seen God do stuff up here, not because of anything I've done, but because all of you chased after God and was obedient, and so I want to tell all of you thank you, and I am proud of all of you so much. So give it up for our servant members who are